Hello GGR Giants, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Back in the Garage Gym to review a bar that I've reviewed in the past, but a 2.0 version. This is the Eleiko Öppen bar, not the Eleiko Öppen deadlift bar, the Eleiko Öppen bar. And really, this is version 3.0. I'm gonna get into all the changes that they've made. I'm also gonna compare this to the myriad of other open-ended trap bars that are available to you today. There are a lot of them. In fact, this is one of the first ones that was out. I think the first one I ever saw was from York. It was this weird, I don't know, like zigzag bar. Not one I'd recommend. And then Intech came out with theirs, which I think popularized the idea. But the one that really cemented this design was this one. It had the jack feet. It was made very well, had premium design. It kind of has flowed from this idea that specialty bars can be premium as well. And so Eleiko went back to the drawing board. One, I think because they've had so many competitors that come on the space. And two, because I think they just overall wanted to make a better product. But in this review, I'll tell you whether they actually made a better product or not. So let's get into it. So this bar, like many that review, was sent to us free of charge by Eleiko. It's not gonna change anything I say. Trust me, if you watch through the end of the video, you'll see I'm gonna give some honest critiques to this bar and also compare and recommend. You'll just have to see. Maybe some others over. We'll see. In addition to that, if you'd like to purchase this and you wanna support Garage Gym Reviews, please check out the links below the like button. We update those with current pricing. In addition to that, we often have different deals and we'll put discount codes down below. And in addition to that, it goes to support us and it doesn't increase the price you pay. They just pay a small commission. So if you are looking to purchase this after this review, please do so. I personally appreciate it. Okay, so before I get into this actual bar, I just want to briefly state why you'd want an open-end trap bar. Because some of you will want it, some of you may not. And the reason you wouldn't want it is because you don't want to pay the extra cost that comes with an open-end trap bar, or you lift over 1,100 pounds. I mean, this one's rated for 1,100 pounds. There's cheaper ones that are rated for more. There's cheaper ones that are rated for less. But generally, you're gonna be able to lift as much weight on this one as you would on a normal trap bar. But the reason that an open-ended trap bar is nice is because it increases the versatility of the bar. Because you're not trapped in, suddenly you can do things that require more movement with the bar. For instance, even in Eleiko's marketing, they had somebody doing like this weird clean thing where they brought it over their head and then shoulder pressed. You really don't want to be doing that with a closed bar because you got a bar that could hit you in the face. But in addition to that, you have more space to move, so you can do things like lunges, carries, presses, bent over rows. One thing I really love using these bars for is seal rows. If you have a seal row bench, because the open-end design, it moves it out of the way and you can just get a ton of stretch. I love using these bars for those, but this bar can be used for a lot more. In addition to that, they have a jack stand feature. At least the Eleiko Öppen bar does, which allows you to jack it up and then put your weight plates on and then jack it back down. Many companies sell jacks that you lift the bar up with, or say squat wedges that you roll the plates on, or people use like 2.5 pound weights where they roll the plates on, leaves a little bit of space, and then they put the plates on. You no longer have to do that with open-ended trap bars. And because most people are using this bar for deadlifting, it makes sense to include a jack stand. I really like it. And this one in particular uses the same jack stand that they used on the previous design. In fact, there's many of the exact same features that we found on the older Oppen deadlift bar, which I actually really love. It's one of my highest rated bars. And this one uses the same overall structure with some changes. One of the changes that we see just when you first look at the bar is the powder coat. The original Oppen deadlift bar had a what I call a space gray powder coat. It looked a lot like a space gray Apple product. I really liked the powder coat. It was somewhat glossy, had a little bit of shimmer, but not too much. It looked really good, but it was still muted enough that it wasn't like, man, why do you have a freaking yellow trap bar in your garage? I thought it was a good look. And it was in line with most of other Eleiko's design principles and the powder coat they were using on their line at the time. Well, now they're using a black textured powder coat. This is the same powder coat they're now using on their Prestera racks and seems like they're putting in throughout their line. I like the black powder coat because it blends in with all your other equipment. But I'm not gonna lie, I really like the space gray. I thought it looked cool. So honestly, I don't think that's a benefit or a negative. It's just gonna depend on what you like. But I will say, thus far, the black in comparison to the space gray that I have in my garage and I've used for years. This black one doesn't seem to be as durable of a coat as the previous space gray. In fact, when we took it out of the box and assembled it, there's already some marking on the inside leg. In addition to that, when I place it in the rack, even on sandwich J-cups, I can start to see like a ring that forms around the bar. Part of that may be because it's black and you can see marring and scarring more likely against such a dark background. But also I think it just may be because of the powder coat they're using. I like the use of the texture because you grab the top of the bar. It's nice to have texture there when you're going to jack it. Again, I mean, just to sum the powder coat up, it's not a big deal versus the old one. I think this is a good powder coat, but those are some things to watch out for. Now, in addition to the powder coat, another thing they've changed is they've shortened the sleeve length. This bar overall is 77 inches in length, which is a more compact bar than many others that are out there. For instance, you look at, say, a competitor bar like the Rogue TB2, over 80 inches, probably around 85 inches, maybe even longer. The old Oppen deadlift bar was around 84 inches. Actually, when I looked on Eleiko's site when they first introduced this, they had this one, the new one, listed at over 84 inches, and they had the old one listed at 77 inches. Didn't make a lot of sense. It's actually currently that way. I hope they update it. But I was worried that for whatever reason, they shortened the sleeve but made it a longer frame. It wouldn't have made sense to me. But just so you know, if you're looking at that and aren't sure, this bar is actually shorter by 7 inches than the old model, which I really like. I like a more compact bar, and I like a lighter bar when starting out for weight. This one weighs 25 kilograms or 55 pounds. Many of the other competitor bars that are within this realm weigh more. The Kabuki Strength Trap Bar starts at 65 pounds. The Rep Bar is 60 pounds, and it can be more depending on what handles you have on there. So I think a lighter bar is better, and I noticed that they wanted to keep that weight, and that's why they made the sleeve shorter. The frame overall is very similar from the previous design, but in order to keep 55 pounds, they decided to shorten the sleeves. Here's the problem with the shortened sleeves though, and it does have a problem. If you're using bumper plates, it may be hard to get to your max weight if you're using big bumper plates. So if you're using high temps or a black traditional bumper plate style plate, you're gonna maybe max out on this. And that's very possible for people that are deadlifting on a trap bar. I mean, that's what this is primarily used for. That's why the old one was called the Oppen deadlift bar, is because it was made specifically for deadlifting. This one now has a shorter sleeve by a significant amount, which is gonna prevent you from having a ton of plates on there if you're using a black style bumper. Now, I will say, if you can afford this bar, you can probably afford calibrated plates or competition bumpers. And for me, because I'm using competition bumpers or I'm using iron to lift with, and I think many that are gonna buy this bar are as well, I don't mind a shortened sleeve because I'm not lifting enough where I'm gonna max this out. Like, never in my dreams am I gonna really max this out with iron plates. And I don't think most people will either. So with all that said, although it's annoying for the loading capacity for people out there that are using a more black style bumper, I think for the majority of people that are out there, they would prefer a 25 kilogram, 55 pound weight and something more compact that will store away. Because that's one of the benefits with these jack style trap bars is they can stand upright up against the wall and be out of the way. I think it's a huge benefit because most trap bars take up a ton of space and you have to put them in a bar stand or something else, where these ones are always there out of the way, and because it's more compact, it takes up less space. Okay, now to the biggest feature change. And this feature change, I think, really cements this bar in like the creme de la gym category. It makes it like very competitive. And that is the addition of another handle height. Number one, I don't know why it took Eleiko so long to add another handle height. Here's kind of Eleiko's design ethos. I talked to their CEO about this. The design principles they follow is from a guy named Dieter Rams. And his principles, he's actually probably one of the most influential designers ever. And the reason being, Johnny Ive at Apple looked up to Dieter Rams and made Apple's design ethos after Dieter Rams. So because of that, like the way that Apple creates things and is now influenced pretty much the rest of the world in creating things, that style of design is what Eleiko follows as well. And it's almost a design minimalism. It's basically remove everything that you don't need and get down to the essentials for a product. It's actually a very hard exercise to do because most people are just adding. But what it ends up doing is make a more complicated product. Eleiko is known for simplicity and very well done products. And this does that. So I think with the original Oppen deadlift bar, they were like, this follows the design ethos. People don't need two handles. If they want to raise the bar, they can use it in a rack because this bar is rackable. More on that in a moment. In addition to that, you can also put it on jerk blocks so you can raise it that way. But I really, really like the addition of a double handle. I like having a higher handle height. In fact, it's what I deadlift most of the time from. It's the reason that I've been using my Kabuki bar for so long. I prefer the Eleiko, and I'll talk more about those comparisons for me personally, but I did not like having the just single handle. I liked having a higher handle. And now that this is included, I'm a big fan. Now, is it worth paying the price for it? We'll get more into that later on, but I will say the secondary handle is, just don't know why you didn't take so long to put it on. Like, you should have done this a long time ago. The second handle does use the same knurling, which is very nice. It's an Eleiko waffle knurl. 1.2 is what they call it. It's on their scale. It's really a more medium knurl. It's not gonna be as thick or sharp as what you'd see from their power bars. And it's also not gonna be as passive as what you'd see from more of their general training bars. I think it's a good medium. There's some trap bars out there. I think of the Rogue TB2. It's so sharp. I had to take sandpaper to it the first time I used it because it was literally just denting my hand. Felt awful. This feels very in line. It's sharp enough where you're gonna have grip, even for heavy lifters, but light enough that people aren't gonna be upset about it. One thing about it though, is they're using a 28mm handle diameter. Now, they're known for their Olympic weightlifting bars, so it's not that surprising that they chose 28mm, but people aren't doing Olympic lifts with the deadlift bar. They're doing deadlifts. They're doing presses. It's one of the benefits for the Open design. I would have much preferred to at least have the option to put a 29mm handle on here. And I'd like to see that. And that's one of the cons for this, is the handles are not replaceable. You see with other companies now, they're making handles that you can interchange. Kabuki, 3 different handle diameters, and one even spins, and they get big. Rep has replaceable handles. They even have their tri-handle design. So I think the idea of having multiple handles that you can choose from, I would really like. I would like a 29mm diameter version of that, and they're bolt-on, so it'd be easy to replace. So Eleiko, I understand you guys don't want a ton of attachments and things, but I think it's something that people would really like, especially me, because I'm used to deadlifting and pressing with a thicker handle. That said, I know somebody's gonna say, Coop, deadlift bars are 27mm, so I know there's people out there that like a thinner handle. It's just personally, I would like the option. Now, again, on the handles, another thing to call out that they do very well that many other companies don't, is they do put knurl marks on the handles. They're beautiful chrome handles, just like you'd see with a barbell. They're just chopped down. But many companies won't put the knurl marks so you can center your hand, which it can be very annoying on longer handles. These are very compact handles, and I think they could get away without the knurl marks, but for the price, I'm very glad they have them in there. It just makes it very easy to get down, grab the bar, and go. And speaking of getting down, grabbing the bar, and going, one problem with other trap bars that are open-ended design is they're often not balanced. Like, they often dump forward. And when I saw Eleiko come out with this bar, I noticed I was, number one, worried that it wasn't gonna be balanced because it has the extra handles, and I was worried it was gonna throw off the weighting. But the other reason I was worried is because on their website, they have a tagline that says, bar is balanced while lifting. So I was worried that the bar would feel balanced while lifting, kind of like a Kabuki trap bar does. But when you release the handles, it just dumps forward because there's too much weight on the front. I was worried, like, they use that language. I don't know why they just wouldn't say bar balanced all the time or something like that, because I thought it was going to be. But have no fear, this bar is balanced both while lifting and when resting. And that is a huge benefit. Like, it is very annoying. Again, it's minor. This stuff is very niche. But understand, you're spending a lot of money on these bars and you're comparing them to others that are out there. If you're spending that much, you want it to be dialed. And something that's very annoying is going down, grabbing a bar that's dumping forward and just like not equal to where you set it when you lined up for a max deadlift. Having a bar that is balanced is a huge benefit, and this one is still balanced. Thank the Lord. So when I add up the features of this has 2 that I think are most important. It has an open-end design, so it has a built-in jack and the ability to do all the versatility, but it's also rackable. And what we've seen is there aren't a ton of bars that do both of those. There are more now that are available, but when this one came out, you had options like Kabuki Strength, which is a tremendous bar, but it's not rackable. And this bar lends itself to being rackable because you can use it for pressing. And because of the design, you can use it as a camber squat bar. Now I will say the bar that I think is most in competition with this for that right is the Rep open trap bar. The reason being that has handles that are removable. So they're not there when you're using it for pressing or squatting. It feels like a bulldog bar. Like it feels like a legitimate camber squat bar. Like it's that good. This one doesn't necessarily because of the handle width being around 24 inches, which is very nice. Like when the Rep bar came out, the standard handles they came out with were way too wide. This one comes with about 24 inches, same as the last Oppen deadlift bar version, which is very nice, but they get in the way when you're squatting or pressing. So that said, I love the rackability. I love that it's got the jack. I love that it's open trap bar. So let me bring this together and tell you how it compares to others. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. This bar is so expensive, like just ridiculously so. When this first came out, it was $799. It really hasn't had the impact like so many of the other bars that are out there due to inflation and due to COVID and just some of those like macro environment things that have happened to strength training and to equipment to increase the cost. Because it's not that much more than the original price. In fact, the old version is the same price as the old one. The new one is now $850. It increased $50 to add a second pair of handles and for the length of time that has gone on since they introduced the bar. Now, I'm guessing they've just eaten into their margins, which I think is an okay thing. I'm glad that they do that versus increase the price, because if this thing was over $1,000, like, that's just a lot for a specialty bar. But still, with shipping, this is over $900. When you compare that to the competition, it's one of, if not the most expensive trap bar that's on the market. And that's a specialty bar. Now, trap bars you use a lot, like, so it's, you know, I know they're specialty, but it is a bar that many people use quite a bit when they're training. And this one opens up more versatility, but it's hard to recommend a bar that expensive. So this is what I'll say. If money's no object and you're comparing this to the other money no object bars, and the ones I'm thinking of are the Kabuki trap bar, which comes in with shipping to us a little over $860, or the Prime trap bar with shipping also comes to us a little over $835. Then if you're comparing those, this is the best. Like seriously, like this one now combines the double handle height of Kabuki. It doesn't have the replaceable handles, but I don't think people use that all the time. I'm hoping maybe with this video, they'll start coming out with different handle diameters. That would be really nice. Prime does have the adjustable handle, but I do think it can be kind of clunky because it's like a pop pin style. Nice to adjust quickly, but can be kind of annoying. That said, when you're looking at those options, I do think the Eleiko is the top dog. Like I thought it was the best before, but I could see the Kabuki winning due to the other handle height. But this one being balanced, being able to be rackable, also having the dual handle heights, also just being the level of quality that Eleiko has with a more compact design, this is a freaking winner. But it is so expensive. And so because of that, if you're a normal person, I probably don't recommend this. Like I would probably recommend the Rep trap bar. The Rep open trap bar at $400 that can do pretty much everything this can do. It's not gonna be the same quality of knurl. It does have the nice feature to use as a camber bar that is better than this, but it does have the longer sleeve length, but quality-wise, I mean, this is an Eleiko. Like it legitimately, it feels like an Eleiko product, which is very high quality. So if you're willing to spend the extra, this is the last trap bar you've ever owned. Just understand you're gonna be paying for it. Now, another thing the Rep bar offers, which they actually added to their bar after seeing my reviews on other trap bars, is they added knurling on the top of the bar. And the reason that's nice is because when you grab the bar to jack it up, it's nice to have some grip there. In addition to that, it's nice to have some like stickiness on your back when you're using it. I think that's one of the reasons Eleiko actually changed to a textured powder coat, because they noticed people were using it for that. Whereas initially, I don't think they planned for that. So this bar can be used to squat with and to press with, and it has a little bit more texture than the previous powder coat, but it's still not as good as the knurled Rep version. I would have liked to see them knurl this. I think that would have been cool. I said that in the last video review that I've done on this bar. I think it would have been a nice addition. I don't think it would have cost a lot of extra, but it would have been something nice to add to the bar. But I will say I've got some cons with this bar. I do. And the biggest one, and this is with Eleiko in general, and it's so annoying, the warranty for this bar is 5 years. A $900 plus bar with a 5-year warranty. when all the competition is giving you a lifetime warranty. Eleiko, you have always had weird stipulations with your warranties. Sometimes you had to use them on Eleiko weightlifting platforms. Sometimes it was you had to use Eleiko calibrated weight plates. This one is now just a 5-year warranty. Stand behind your product. Do you really not expect this to go beyond 5 years? Like, I've used the old one. I don't understand why you wouldn't ever give a lifetime warranty on this bar. It's that good of quality. So stand behind. I really think for that amount of money, you should expect a lifetime warranty like you're seeing from competitors and like you see from big companies. Eleiko's a big company. They can offer a lifetime warranty. I would love to see it on this bar. For the price, I think it should be included. So to round it out, although the warranty is a little bit annoying and they have the warranty sticker, just like side note, they've got a warranty sticker on the handle assembly and it says do not remove with a warranty number on it. I'm number one kind of worried that if that falls off, because it's not like the best sticker in the world, like you're not gonna be able to get a warranty for this thing. That would be extremely annoying too. Number three, like they stamp the serial numbers on their barbells. I would have loved to see the warranty number stamped on this bar so it would always be there. But again, that's minor. So to round all this out, although this is the most expensive, I do think it's the best. Does it warrant the cost versus competition? You're gonna have to decide that. If I was shopping for a trap bar and I was in earlier years of my life, I wouldn't have spent this much on a trap bar. I would have bought the Rep Open trap bar. I think it's the best value, or the Giant trap bar, which we've reviewed and I think is an incredible value as well. But if you just like want the best of the best, this is it. I mean, this is the one I'll use. So just being frank. All right, this has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. What do you think about this bar versus others that are out there? We like adjustable dumbbells and pretty much every other strength category. I've reviewed a lot of them. Are there some that we've missed? One I would like to review, and I know you're gonna tell me, is the Prime Fitness Trap Bar. I wanna review that one on the channel. I'm gonna work on it. So let me know if you'd like to see that one and like to see this one compared to others. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for following along. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.